Hey, here we go.
Hey, here we go.
Hey, here we go.
Hey, here we go.
Everywhere we go, oh,
Everywhere we go,
people wanna know
people want to know
who we are,
who we are,
where we come from.
where we come from.
So we tell them.
So we tell them.
A recut.
All right. Well, Mr. Nice Guy and I sat down this morning and did a little test of our concept for a Towcritter Roundtable. Anyway, we sat down, had a little conversation, and I just recorded it. So we're gonna just check it out, see how the whole idea works, and see what everybody thinks.
Now see, right now I'm recording it also, and then it goes back and forth. Whoever's talking, it actually you can do different settings as far as who it is on the big picture and all that. So
Okay. Very good.
yeah. So hey, who knows? We'll have some fun anyway.
Yes. I'm glad Shipley Clancy suggests. So I don't think he was talking to me, but I happened to see it, so it'll be interesting. I always like listening to a bunch of good talkers, and Towcritters are famous.
We got a few of them.
So anyways, yeah. And there's been some names popping up lately in the last round of discussions that people that I think I might know, but I don't. So I'm really glad that you know most people and can steer me in the right direction.
Well, that's because they kept shifting me from platoon to platoon because nobody wanted me.
Well, there's one guy that they mentioned, Corporal Salazar, who I think I know, but his pictures look nothing like my mental memory of the Salazar, Corporal Salazar I remember. So my brain is definitely off way in outer space. Yeah. So it's good you're here.
Yeah, when they were talking about Sergeant Laney, remember him? I remember there was when I first got there, Laney and Petronas were both sergeants, and Laney, I can picture Laney right now. I can close my eyes, I can see his face because he had that goofy grin. He reminded me of some character from Little Abner or something, you know. And when he'd be pissed off, he'd be yelling at somebody, and then when he'd be done yelling, he'd break into that goofy grin. It's like you just blew your whole thing right there, you know.
He had a way of he tilted his head back and had that big old smile. Yeah, he really. And my memory is he really was a great guy. You know, just like all of us, a little short fused once in a while. But yeah, I remember him. I have fond memories of him. Was he? Who was it with 1-8 that got sent home? Was it Blakemore or Laney? Who was it?
Blakemore was our section leader on the Saipan. And
so
then,
was he the one that got sent home early by 8th Marines?
Might have been either him or Petronas. I always get my memories of those two confused because they were both kind of out there.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't know if you were at actually you got there later than I did. So I think we went through a tow school at different times. But when we were at tow school, Taylor and I were just goofing around at lunch or something, and I think Petronas was hungover or something from the night before, so he was not having it. So he kept telling us to shut up, and of course me and Taylor didn't. So he pulled out his .45 and he chambered around and fired it right into the tree above our heads, about 2 feet above our heads. All the bark and shit's just falling down on us, and Taylor and I just was like, So we didn't give him any shit after that. He had a very quiet rest of his day.
I don't remember Patronus. There was yeah. Those names. The name rings a bell.
Well, we have some pictures of Patronus on our group. There's a couple pictures of a Jeep that was kind of like folded up where it rear-ended, and one of the pictures he's standing right next to it. He's got his field jacket on. He doesn't have a cover or anything. He just kind of he was the section leader and his driver wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, I have this vague.
He had these
memory
rim glasses and.
Yeah, I think I went to 29 Palms with him, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, he looked kind of like a scholarly type, you know. And either him or Laney was on the Mayaguez rescue. I can't remember which one it was, but I remember him telling a story that they didn't know what they were doing. I mean, as far as they told him, okay, we're doing an op, but they didn't tell him what they thought it was training at first until they were like in the air or whatever. And he said his gas mask bag was actually full of candy bars.
Yeah, I have a memory very vague that was Patronus, and he was the one who said that when he got on, that he thought he was on the last helicopter to leave, and when they were leaving, he saw the machine gun team that had been covering him come out into the LZ and just look at him because the last chopper was already gone. Yeah, that's my. But I couldn't swear it was him that told me that story.
Like I said, I thought it was Laney or Patronus, but I'm kind of leaning towards Patronus myself as far as.
Yep.
I think it was him. Yeah. There were a couple pretty. Actually, none of the section leaders that I had there were dickheads or anything. I had even Blakemore, who thought he tried to be, but he's actually pretty cool. He on the one time on the Saipan, for some reason we had like a little inspection of our wall lockers or whatever. We had those little like 2-foot wall lockers, and I had a bunch of books in there on how to grow pot and how to make LSD out of morning glory seeds. And then he pulls out all these books and he looks at me. He says, "They're doing a lot of reading this trip, right?"
Yeah, my memory is that you were practically when it came to psilocybin mushrooms, you were practically a world-class botanist. But so was Blakemore a gunny on that cruise?
Yeah, he's a gunnery sergeant. He was a big guy. I mean, he was probably like 6'4".
So they said
big head.
Yes, for some reason. So I'm 90% confident that 1-8 hated us, and they found an excuse to send him home. And when that
was on our float was when Blakemore was on the Saipan.
I know.
We were with 1-6 because that's what
I was on the Saipan twice. So.
Oh, okay.
But was it with 1-6 where they sent him home?
No, I don't think. We'll have to talk to Clancy.
All right. So I was with one of the 8th Marine battalions, and I was with one of the either 5th or 6th. They had the kind of rope on the shoulder.
Yeah, that was the 6th Marines.
All right. So were you with the 1-8 with me when they that was the one where they sent our guy home. They put a one of their own staff sergeants in charge, they hated us. They really disliked. Well, I mean, to the point of they made fools of themselves. They hated us so much.
You know,
But that was
all the grunts hated us because we had cars.
yeah. No, this was this
They
was
were like
pretty awesome.
they were the grunts were like the freshmen in high school. They they were jealous of the people that had the cars.
I yes. No, maybe it was. So I don't remember which cruise it was. I swear it was with I'm very confident. I shouldn't swear it, and I wouldn't put a lot of money on it. 8th Marines was the worst unit I was ever attached to. They shit canned our. They made up some excuse. Shit canned our section leader. Put in their own guy.
I think that had to have been your first either med float or NATO float, because I was with the 8th Marine first, 1-8 on my second med float, and that was the one where we spent like 60 days doing circles off the coast of Lebanon.
Egypt.
We didn't even see land for 60 days.
Yeah, that was Egypt though. That was because Sadat got assassinated.
No, that was on my first float, because actually we were due to do a liberty call in Crete when Sadat got assassinated, and actually the other ship, where the other tow ship was, they were due to do liberty in Israel, and they pulled both of us, the whole Armanda or whatever, they pulled us off the coast of Egypt, but it was only for a short time because they wanted, they had to find out who was, killed him and what was going on. They thought they thought Gaddafi was behind it or something. They weren't sure.
All right, I'll take your word for it. You remember a lot more.
Like I said, I remember that that float with the 8th Marines, because, like I said, that whole float was all messed up. We spent all that time just floating around in circles, and then actually during that 60 days, I got that was my only brig time was during that 60 days. It was only for about 6 hours. I actually got put on mess duty, and if you still there, or
Yeah, I got a low battery warning. Sorry about that.
okay. Yeah, I got put on mess duty, and they put me in the wardroom, as so I had to wear my the monkey suit and stand at the end of at the table waiting for somebody to snap their fingers so I could go over and pour them a cup of coffee. And I made it through one meal, and I went up and told the guy that was in charge. I said, you can send me to the brig right now, because you'll have to send me after the next meal, because the next time some ensign or second lieutenant snaps his finger at me to get some coffee, he's gonna get a lap full of coffee. So I said, I'm not going back in there no matter what. And so they sent me to the brig. I was in the brig for about 6 hours, and the dumbwaiter that brought all the stores up to the galley went down. So I spent the next 2 weeks moving all the food with me and like 4 other guys from the stores are like 8 levels down from the galley, and the bottom level is where the frozen chicken and that's, they come in like 80-pound boxes of frozen chickens. You're moving, and I can't remember how many people were on the ship, a couple thousand or whatever. So we 3 meals a day, we just moving 100-pound bags of flour and rice, and so we did about probably about 18 hours a day just moving food for everybody. But actually, it wasn't bad. A nice workout.
All right. Well, so my battery's low. If it dies, it dies. But
all right. So
you were with the 6th. You and I were only on one med cruise together, right?
Yeah.
And you think we were on the same together with the 6th Marines in 82?
Yeah, Yeah, I've got a Saipan cruise book over here because actually it's Rogan's, but yeah, Rogan and Gilbert were in 1/6, and they were on that cruise. So I remember that.
That's that's the cruise with Toulon. Okay.
Yep. And that was the cruise where you and I had a hard time finding the Saipan at one time when we were wandering around the pier and looking for the Saipan, and Rogan found us and pointed right next to us and said, "Oh, right there, see that big two? That's the Saipan." It's like, oh. I think they were testing out some cloaking technology or something. That was the only thing I could figure.
They must have been. They must have been. But I do know that was the town where you could walk into any bar and all you did was, the wine was cheaper than the beer. And I was used to drinking beer. So drinking cheap wine, that explains things like playing chicken on the pier and all sorts of stuff.
Well, that's what happened to me on my first visit to Toulon. I started drinking wine. It was a bottle of wine was cheaper than a bottle of beer. So we were buying bottles of wine, but we were drinking it like beer, like right out of the bottle. And so I'd had like 6 or 7 bottles of this wine when I was with a girl, and we ran into her boyfriend, who was a French sailor, that she didn't know that the ship was back in town. And I ran into him and I don't know, like 5 of his friends, and that's what we ended up in that brawl, and I got thrown through the plate glass window, and it was, anyway, that's a long story. I ended up my punishment there. I got sent to the incinerator room for 2 weeks on ship, burning all the confidential bundles of papers, and yeah, so it was interesting.
All right. Yeah, Toulon, I think, is a whole bunch. That's the one where the first time you got a rock embedded in your skull, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll look around. I've got that rock somewhere. We'll have to. I'll take a picture and display that. Actually, it's still got like little pieces of hair. Hey, quiet! Little pieces of hair and blood stains on it.
Yeah, you got to be careful about keeping forensic evidence like that, because you never know what it could be tied to.
Yeah.
Interpol gets a hold of that. Ooh.
Yep.
All right. That's good. Well, yeah. I think I was on the Saipan twice.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Actually, I was on the Guadalcanal, my first med float. That was the other carrier type that I was on. The Saipan and the Guadalcanal. Other than that, it was all LPDs. The Shreveport, the Trenton. I can't even remember. I've got a notebook that I wrote it all down back then. So that's all why I can remember some of these things.
All right, good. We'll have to. Well, we'll do this again. I'm going to call it quits for now. But yeah. This is tell Clancy that I'm ready now.
Okay. Yeah, I'll talk to Clancy, and like I said, we'll set up a time and tell some stories. And
now, was he on the cruise with the 6 Marines too?
Yeah, he was on the Saipan, that last cruise that I went on. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Good. I wish I could have any memory. I have no memories of those kind of things at all. I do remember, bits and pieces. Zanella. I have a dozen stories about Zanella doing crazy things in places like Naples and
Yes,
and
that had been on your first med float, because I wasn't on any meds with Zanella that I can recall.
Okay.
At least he never shows up in the pictures.
Okay. So I think if you go to those pictures of us in Norway, those are my first med cruise. I think we went from Norway. We went from Norway down to the. We were off of Oman. We went through the Suez Canal, then back, and we did 4 months in the Med. That's my memory, but I could be very wrong.
Yeah.
So those were guys like Al Sablone. You know, we stopped
I think Ratfuck Kelly is in some of your pictures.
Yeah. I'll go back through those pictures from the Norway, and maybe I can cross-reference some of those people with that cruise.
Yeah.
But I could have swore. So anyways, yeah. So maybe my story is about Zanella doing crazy stuff with silver certificates in Naples won't strike, but we'll figure something out.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, well, like I said, we'll figure out a time with Clancy, and we'll just, like I said, we'll sit down and, you know, talk some stories, you know, get all our memories working.
Okay, I like that because it's definitely I all I can do is provide supporting color. I've got no real fundamental good memories of that. I mean, yeah, I have snapshots, bits and pieces.
Yeah, see, my old memories are much better than what I did, 20 minutes ago.
Gotcha. All right, man. Good to talk to you.
All right, well, take it easy, Kevin. And like I said, we'll set it up, and we'll talk to Clancy, and who knows, we'll pull into this little Towcritter Roundtable thing.
Oh, that sounds good. Well, some of the people who've been jumping in the last couple of days about Staff Sergeant Laney and stuff like that, it sounds like they got a lot better stories than I do. So I'll be glad. I'll be enjoying listening in.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Well, take it easy, Kevin, and we will talk to you later on, man.
Yes, sir. Bye.
I knew a girl who lives on a hill.
I know a girl who lives on a hill.
She won't do it, but her mama will.
She won't do it, but her mama will.
I know a girl all dressed in green.
I know a girl all dressed in green.
She gives out like a Coke machine.
She gives out